All right, so chapter 8 review number 1. We basically have two similar figures, and these sides line up with each other. Now, as I've said in class, you can just set up your fractions just like this. 3x minus 10 over 25 equals 4 over 5. You could have also set them up this way, 3x minus 10 over 4 and 25 over 5. You're still going to get the exact same values. Now, when we cross multiply, don't forget to put this in parentheses. So 5 times 3 is 15x minus 5 times 10 is 50, equaling 100, 4 times 25. Now we add 50 to both sides, we get 15x equals 150, and divide by 15, x equals 10. Now there is actually a shortcut to this problem if you see it. This is times 5, which means this would be times 5, which means it's equal to 20. So you could have just said 3x minus 10 equals 20. Then if you add 10 to get 30 and divide by 3, you will still get x equals 10. Just another way of doing it. Not a big deal. It doesn't matter which way you do it. Okay? On number 2, if you look at this, we have times 2, times 2. This would also be times 2, which means this is equal to 10. So you could just do x plus 1 equals 10, x equals 9. If you see that shortcut. And again, if we didn't have those ratios that nicely, you may not be able to do that. So what we would do is say, it doesn't matter which sides. I'm going to pick the 12 and the 6. So 12 over x plus 1 is equal to 6 over 5. Could have used the 16 and the 8 also instead of the 12 and the 6. Just a choice. Doesn't matter. So 6 times x plus 1 is 6x plus 6 equals 60. Subtract 6 and you get 54. And again, you get x equals 9. Just options. Just different ways to do things. You work with what works best for your brain. All right. Dog and cat. Okay. So this corresponds to that side, that to that side, and that to that side. The smaller one is 1/3 of the big one. Or the big one is 3 times the small one. So it's a 1-to-3 or a 3-to-1 ratio, depending on which direction you're going. Okay? This one here, notice all the sides are 40, all the sides are 48. So it's a ratio of 40 to 48, which can reduce to 5/6. Or if you're going the other direction, 6/5. So 5/6 is if you're going from big to small. 6/5 is going small to big. All right. Are they similar, and which theorem would you use? All right. For this one, notice how we have no angles marked. And so it is yes by SSS similarity. And it's an interesting similarity because the numbers are the same, which means the scale factor is a 1-to-1. They are actually congruent. But as we've said before, congruent triangles are also similar. And then if we go in order, STI, we want to go in order LKU. That's a horrible L. I'm just going to start over. Can't have that, even for me. Number 5. Now notice, we have a 1 here, a 1 here. We have a 2 here and a 2 here. That means we have angle-angle similarity. So that's yes. And we have to be careful. SQR. S is going from 1 to 2 to none. So on this one, we don't want to go 1, 2 to none. So that's GEF. Order matters. All right, on this one, we have the small triangle and we have the big triangle. Okay, the small triangle is 110 here, and 156 minus 36 is 120, so that's 120. The big triangle is 156 here, and 110 plus 33, which is 143. And we're just going to set that up and test it and see if it works out. 110, and notice there you have the same angle, so we have a possible SAS. So 110 over 120 equal to 143 over 156. Now if we multiply those two, we get 17,160 equal to 17,160, which means yes, they are proportional, the sides are proportional, and so that means we have SAS, proportion, similarity. Now being careful, SRC means we're starting here, going down here in this way, so that means we're going to start here, go down here and go this way, so that's ABC. And the scale factor is 13 to 10, or 10 to 13, if you just reduce it. Just reduce the fractions. All right, number 7 is a tricky one. First, you have to see which one lines up with which. So first, I'm going to say, I'm just going to try it the way it is. 14 over 72 equal 12 over 84. And let's see if these two are corresponding sides. When I do that, I get 1176 equal 864, and that's a lie. So it's not those two. So I'm going to see if this side goes with this side, and this one goes with that one. So I'm going to do 12, that was supposed to be a 1. 12 over 72. And 14 over 84. And some of you may notice that this is simply times 6, and this is times 6. Either way, it's 1008 equals 1008. So yes, those two sides are proportional. We have vertical angles here. So we have SAS, proportional similarity, but we have to be careful here because of what sides line up. So FNE goes this way, but since they're flipped on this one, we're going to go this way. I'm sorry, my bad. It went FNE, so it started out here and went towards the center and out. So this one is going to go towards the center and out. So MNL. And like I said, it's a 6 to 1 or a 1 to 6 ratio, depending on which direction you're going, getting bigger or getting smaller. All right, number 8. Well, if we do the math here on the big one, 80 plus 40 is 120, which means this has to be 60. And 60 plus 80 on the small one is 140, which means this is also 180 minus 40 is 40. So notice we have a 40, 40, 60, 60, 80, 80. So it actually is AA similarity. If you just looked at the 80, 40, 80, 60, you might say no, but you got to find that third angle and see that we do have all of them matching. Now being careful, SUN, we're going from the 40 to the 80 to the 60. So from here, the 40 to the 60 to the 80 would be DRA. Hold on. My bad. On sun, we went from the 40 to the 80 to the 60. So 40 to the 80 to the 60 would be DAR. Sorry about that. But again, see, these mistakes happen. You just got to be careful. Okay. So when we have the situation of these lines being parallel, we know we have proportional sides on those. I'm not going to make congruent marks, but these sides are proportional. So therefore, since we have a common angle here, on the small triangle, we'll have SAS, and on the big triangle, we'll have SAS. So that's a yes. And then SMT, we're going this way, up and down. So we're going to go UMI, same direction. Number 10, I'm going to flip this around because notice how it says TUV, TBA. So I'm going to have the TUV lined up just like TBA. TUV. And then put the numbers. So TU is 48. And TV is 54. That way I can see that this and this are lined up, and this are lined up. Okay, so again, if you notice, 8 times 6 is 48. So if we divide by 6 going that way, that means this equals 9. So you could just do that, subtract 1 and divide by 2, and you'd find out that x is 4. But let's set up proportions. So 8 to 48, and 2x plus 1 to 54. And again, we're going to cross multiply, like so, and we're going to get, don't forget the parentheses, 432 equal to 96x plus 48. Subtract 48, we get 384, and divide, we get x equals 4. But again, if you happen to notice that the bigger triangle is 6 times the smaller triangle, and we divide 54 by 6, we would get 9, and we could just do this simple problem and get the same answer a little bit quicker. Number 11. First off, notice that we have vertical angles. So right off the bat, we have A and A. Now it says PQR, PED. So notice PQ is 88. That matches up with PE, which is 48. Okay? And then these two are related. Now another thing you can do is you can actually do your small triangle, big triangle, PED and PQR, and put, PE is 48, PD is 42, PQ is 88, and this is 6x plus 17. If it helps you to see them like that lined up, redraw it. Only if it helps you. Now we're going to do the math, the ratios. And again, it doesn't matter how you do this. I'm going to do 88 over the 6x plus 17. So this over this, which means 48 over 42. But again, there's multiple ways to set this up. You'll get the same answer every time. So now when I multiply, I get 3696 equaling 288x plus 816. Subtract 816, I get 2880 equals 288x. And hopefully without a calculator, you see if you divide that, you'll get 10. Number 12. So first off, this is 18. Okay? So if we say take the small triangle and put the 3 over the 18, so the right side of the small triangle and the right side of the big triangle, and again, you can separate them out if you want. Put 3 here, put 18 here, put 24 here, okay? And go from there. We're going to say 3 over 18 is equal to x over 24, because this is what we're trying to figure out. What is this right here? Cross multiply, we get 18x equal to 72, x equals 4. All right? On 13, we have 6 and 15 here. All right? And we don't know this one. So I'm just going to say 6 to 15 is the same as 8 to x. And again, you can move these around and it'll still be the same thing. So 6x equals 120. Therefore, x equals 20. right? So here, if this is 16 on the right side and this is 12, that makes this 4. All right? So that's how these two are going to correspond with each other, and these two are going to correspond with each other. So I'm going to say 20 over my unknown, 16 over 4. Now you might recognize that 16 divided by 4 is 4, so this should just be 20 divided by 4. But if you don't see that, 16x equals 80, x equals 5. And last one on this page, this is a little trickier one. This is my x. This is 7 minus x. We've done one like this in class, okay? And we can just set up our things right here. 6 over x equals 8 over 7 minus x. Again, put in parentheses, cross multiply. 8x equals 42 minus 6x. If I add 6x, I get 14x equals 42. And when I divide, I get 3. On the last page. All right, old trick, A, B, C, D. That was supposed to be lined up. So A corresponds to E. AB to EF. AD to EH. C corresponds with G. All right, BC. BC is right here. That corresponds to CD right there. So the middle two to the last two. That means the middle two to the last two. FG over GH. D corresponds with H. And here we go again. EF, first two to GH, the last two. So AB, the first two to CD, the last two. And what is the scale factor? Well, we have it right here. 15 over 10, or 10 over 15, which is 3 to 2, or, again, 2 to 3, depending on which way you're going, getting bigger or getting smaller. All right, remember, perimeter and scale factor are the same thing. But area, remember, area is in square units. So we square that. 1/3 squared, which is 1/9. On 24, perimeters and scale factor are the same thing. Area is squared. So 9 squared is 81. And 16 squared is 256. So again, this is 9/16 squared. And that's it.